Well, it's Thanksgiving, so you know what that means. America's crazy uncle Mike Lindell is at the dinner table screaming at the top of his lungs about voter fraud while everyone else silently ignores him and tucks into their green bean casserole. Oh, and also, President Biden tried to talk to a turkey. For more on this, it's time for a closer look. If you did have some turkey today, it almost certainly wasn't one of these guys because they were both pardoned by President Biden on Monday. And Biden could not help but indulge in some, let's say, overcooked Thanksgiving puns.
First of all, the votes are in. They've been counted and verified. There's no ballot stuffing. There's no foul play. The only red wave this season is going to be a German Shepherd Commander knocks over the cranberry sauce on our table.
Interesting fact, every one of those puns came from a book called 101 Thanksgiving Jokes That Will Make Grandchildren Scream, "Grandpa, for the love of God, stop it, you're embarrassing yourself." I do forgive him because he's a grandpa. He's President Grandpa. And he's been a grandpa so long, his granddaughter just got married, which means if Biden wins a second term, there's a chance he could be President Great-Grandpa, and that would be the first time in American history that's happened. Or the fifth. I don't know. I tried to Google it. I couldn't figure it out. I entered in, has there ever been a great-grandfather president? And Google just said, do you really need to know? And I said, not really. And Google said, just come back when you have something important. Do you know how many searches we do in a day? Point is, Biden's joke were bad, but I'll happily take some stale puns over a long rant about how China is working with Hugo Chavez to smuggle in forged ballots or whatever Trump used to talk about during holidays. They've treated me very unkindly, these crooked Democrats, maybe worse than anyone has ever been treated before. And that, of course, is the true meaning of Mother's Day. Remember when he used to host the Easter egg roll at the White House and the bunny would just stand next to him for what felt like forever while Trump would ramble to children about how he rebuilt the military or something? And for some reason, that bunny was always making a face like he just walked in on his parents having sex. Which presumably happens all the time because, you know, they are bunnies. Mom, Dad! No, I'm already sharing my room with 30 brothers and sisters. In fairness to Trump, I don't know why his staff went on Amazon and specifically chose the costume called Horrified Easter Bunny. I did enjoy Biden's shout out to his dog Commander, though. That one doesn't quite seem like a joke to me. There's no red wave unless Commander knocks over the cranberry sauce. I'm serious, folks. He might do it. That dog is crazy. I'm scared to death of him. Last Thanksgiving, he jumped out and grabbed the carving knife, held up Secret Service for an hour. They had to throw a net over him. There's also a decent chance I fell asleep on the Acela and dreamed that. No, it happened. For the most part, it was a very traditional ceremony, although there was one odd moment where Biden asked the providers of the turkeys how many more they had, made a weird joke about visiting other countries, and then asked the turkey if it wanted to talk.
How many turkeys you got down there you raising?
Circle S Ranch grows about 9.5 million turkeys a year.
God love you. 9.5 million turkeys. I tell you what, that's like some of the countries I've been to. Anyway, do you want to talk?
Wait, how? How is that like some of the countries you've been to? They had that many people or they had that many turkeys? No wonder. You tried to get the turkey to say something to change the subject. Bail me out here, brother. With that said, asking a turkey if they want to talk into a microphone is very funny. Mostly because it's just fun to imagine what a turkey would say. Would it be like an Emmy acceptance speech? I just want to thank my family, my friends, my agent, my manager, everybody down at the Roost who believed in me, and I want to say to my kids at home, Jeremy and Delilah, go to bed! Also, it is a nice change of pace that the president is willing to share the mic. You know Trump would never share the spotlight with two turkeys unless he was posing for a family photo. They do puff their chests out like they're turkeys. But as you heard in that first clip, Biden couldn't help but take a slight jab at the supposed red wave that never materialized. In this year's midterms, many people, including Republicans, are still wondering why that red wave never happened, and at least one GOP pundit on Fox News had a theory.
We have a candidate quality problem, but what we've seen is a real intensification of this problem from top to bottom, not just Senate candidates, but House candidates, Secretary of State candidates, and governors and the like. And it's what I call the MyPillowization of the Republican Party. Is we've attracted these more cartoon characters, and if somebody speaking at a rally with a president or a presidential candidate is best known as a pillow salesman, run to high heaven.
Whoa, you can run, but you can't hide from Mike Lindell's voice. It doesn't matter how far away you are, you will still be able to hear him. It's like that scene from Jurassic Park. If at any point you see the water in your glass rippling, don't worry, it just means Mike Lindell is speaking somewhere. But if Republicans are worried about the MyPillowization of their party, then they're probably not going to be thrilled to hear the latest news from Mike Lindell land. But in a way, we are, because here's the thing, it's Thanksgiving, and just as important as the turkey and the stuffing and the football are the crazy uncles. And just in time for Thanksgiving, old Uncle Mike went on one of his usual obscure right-wing TV shows that you can only get with rabbit ears or a ham radio, and claimed he had solid proof that elections across the country were stolen from Republicans.
We have cyber evidence of a 37,000 vote flip on the Kari Lake race on Thursday after the election. We have all the Edison data that came in real time that came through on all the races, including Fincham, Blake Masters. They all won, okay? They all won. This is like we were watching from every angle. You go up to Michigan, they've completely wiped out the state of Michigan, stole the legislatures, everything. These other races with from Oz really won. There's all these different races, but they were caught. So but Arizona is the gateway to all of to expose everything. Everybody, we have to get Arizona. They need to do a new election.
That's right. They need to do a new election. He screams like he's doing dialogue from a straight-to-DVD knockoff of Back to the Future. Marty, we gotta go back in time and do a new election. I hooked up the DeLorean to the clock tower and got electrocuted, and that's why I talk like this. Also, I found that sports almanac and bet $1 million on the Bears. Now, you might be wondering why we're spending any time at all talking about a pillow salesman. Well, aside from the fact that it's Thanksgiving, we're celebrating the importance of crazy uncles, Lindell has also been a major influence within the election denial movement, as we've noted before. He's endorsed candidates, appeared at Trump rallies, and according to the New York Times, he's spent as much as $40 million on conferences, activist networks, a digital media platform, legal battles, and researchers that promote his theory of the case. The particularly outlandish conspiracy theory that the election was stolen through a complex global plot to hack into voting machines. First of all, I don't believe he has researchers. I believe he has guys who are willing to say they did research just to collect an easy paycheck. All right, gang, did you guys do all the research I asked for? Yeah, definitely. We found a bunch of cyber evidence using the Edison data to prove that they completely wiped out the state of Michigan. Sounds good, fellas. Here's $1 million. Now, if you ever hear Lindell yelling, just grab a lab coat and go get paid. Also, how does he have this much money? His pillows can't be that good. Otherwise, he wouldn't always look like he hasn't slept in 5 years. But I don't know. Maybe they are. I don't know. So let me try one. Here we go. You know what? I will say, it doesn't look that bad. Why did we move our sound effects guy to Australia? We're gonna get this one. Okay, you guys, I want to make something clear. This is not a real MyPillow. I do not want to get sued by Mike Lindell, because if I am, I think I would laugh through the whole trial and the jury would turn against me for being immature. If you want to sue someone, sue Sal. He writes these. I barely know what any of these words mean. Lindell is also currently banned from Twitter as of this taping, but he's been very public about the fact that he wants his account back. In fact, he even issued a direct plea to Twitter's new owner, Elon Musk.
My shout out to Elon Musk would be, if you're such to be a new platform of free speech, but yet you're going to carve out the guys that talk about our election crimes and our election integrity, I don't think it's that free, Steve. I think it's I think I would like to do a shout out to Elon Musk right now. Hey, check out the evidence. I was banned because I was telling the truth.
Would you commit right now to do an open live Twitter with Elon Musk about what you believe is the voter fraud related to machines and other things in the 2020 election, sir?
Absolutely. I'd fly to him, do whatever it takes. And I would do that any day, any time of day or night. And I'll drop everything I have to do that.
All right, first of all, dude, you're on TV. Wear something nicer than a plaid shirt. Second of all, seriously, be a professional. Second of all, you don't need to call it a shout out. Everything you say is a shout out. Anyway, now that we've had our fun, let's remember that it's Thanksgiving. It's a time for us to come together with our friends, our families, and our communities to spend time with another, to give thanks, and of course, to ignore our crazy uncles. And if you have a crazy uncle at Thanksgiving this year, don't worry. Just remember the first rule. Whatever you do, do not turn to them and say,
Do you want to talk?
this has been A Closer Look.